Today in the show, we're talking about the review for XBLA Gatling Gears game and also Wii2. Hey everybody, welcome to Press Pause, the video game nerd show. I'm your host, Carl Stradella. With me today is brand new co-host Dan Shu.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, formerly of OneUp.com, EGM, now Bitmob.com, which is a very cool website.
Thank you, thank you.
Also, guest today, Ben Perley from, what was it again? I messed it up, Game Zone.
It's just so,
I had it.
Do I hold up a sign? I'll just be like,
Game Zone.
Game Zone.
It's kind of a, generic name, but it's an awesome website.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. We're going to talk about Gatling Gears review, which is for the XBLA, later to come out for PSN and PC. Then we're going to talk about Wii2 and what we'd like to see out of the actual system. So let's start with Gatling Gears for XBLA. Dan Shu, you played it. We've been playing it for a while.
Yeah, it's okay. I kind of wanted more, so I'm a little bit disappointed, I think.
Okay.
You saw the initial trailers, and you have these great environments, right? Crumbling worlds.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the graphics are great, and the boss fights are really, really good. They're amazing boss fights. But just, part of a shooter is like that kind of getting those cooler weapons, and it's so slow to get the better weapons in this game. It's kind of disappointing. Also kind of hard to see what's going on sometimes. But, it's okay.
Right, it's a top-down view, shooter-type game.
Yeah.
It kind of feels almost at a time where like a collectible game, where you're collecting things, the gears, kind of a Ratchet and Clank feel, right?
Yeah, and it's very old school, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, it's about like, hey, there's gonna be waves of missiles coming at you, avoid the patterns, try to figure out where everyone is. And, once you kind of get the hang of like, say there's like, you have a cannon, you have your Gatling machine gun, and then you have a grenade that you have to kind of aim a cursor over it and then plant down where you want your grenades to go.
Let's talk about that grenade for a minute. Not to sidestep the full review, but that is annoying, right?
Now, wait.
It was really hard to control.
I thought so too until I figured it out. So at first I thought you just push the button and all you do is just launch this cursor away from you.
Yeah.
And it just keeps going until you want to stop it and it stays there. The second grenade you want to launch goes from that cursor and it keeps pushing farther out. Anyway, I thought it was really hard to aim at first. And then last night I'm like, wait a minute, I've been doing it wrong this whole time. And actually, if you just stop for a moment, the same stick you're moving your guy with, it also controls the cursor, and it became...
Oh, because I was using the right analog to aim with the right analog, and that was just annoying.
Yeah, it's not intuitive. Once you figure it out, it's much, much easier to use.
Okay.
And it's not bad when you start to upgrade your guy. You get the high-level cannon, high-level grenades.
Yeah.
It becomes more fun, but a lot of frustrating things about it, and you get all these upgrades or these collectibles, like you can unlock pets and skins that ultimately don't do much for you. They're just for looks.
Yeah, the pets was weird.
Yeah, I'm like, do something. Like, go fetch me some gears, go get some money, something. Mm-hmm. But they don't help at all. So they just get in the way. When you have a couple of animals running around, it just looks like more stuff that might kill you that you're trying to avoid.
Right, and as you can see here, like, the screen's already full up with a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it looks good.
Overall,
it looks really,
you like it,
it controls well. I don't love it.
Okay.
But it's all right. I think it's a decent time.
So it's a strong like.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. I like it a little bit more because of just the intensity that I felt during the game. Like in those intense moments, it almost like Ikaruga or something. You're like, I wasn't even breathing at times, like just trying to get past all the crazy bullet stream. And when you upgrade your weapons, then it starts feeling really fun.
Yeah.
Because again, like you said, the pace is kind of slow to get to those cool weapons. Because at the very beginning, you're like, damn it, like it's going to take a while to kill these guys. So I enjoyed it. Funny little side note, the beginning, the music is Superman.
I know. Every time I hear, I'm like, this is Superman. I start to sing the old Superman.
I know. I had my headphones on, like not looking at the screen, And
he won't know what we're talking about.
The youngin.
This is old Superman.
I forgot to mention Supergirl once. That was an awesome.
This is a great time to explain that. Then we have him on because he is the younger generation of gamer,
Indeed.
And then we're the old curmudgeons. So I think that's a good mix.
You're like. Are you like Yu-Gi-Oh, that kind of generation?
No, I'm not that. I think I was 11 when Pokemon came out. Mm-hmm. So early Pokemon was, you were an old person. You were out of college. I'm just like, dude.
So overall, I really liked the game. It had a couple other weird issues that we can talk about. But I seem to play I played better when I was almost dead, weirdly enough, because you do have a few guys in this game. It's like you have a couple lives, which is interesting. And the save points seemed to be okay. Like it wasn't like crazy where the save points were.
That's fine.
So I flew through a lot of it. I didn't finish it, but I got enough upgradable weapons that I felt like it was an enjoyable time at that point.
I wish they give you more upgrades, more variety of upgrades, and sooner.
Quicker, yeah.
Yeah, because you have to go find gold pieces, right? And if you miss one, you can't buy the next upgrade, right? You just have to, until you collect enough gold pieces, you're not going to get those upgrades. And I think that there's not enough variety in the enemies too, except the boss fights. They're all very awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
But just if they gave you more upgrades, you got flashier weapons. That's what shooters are about. You think about like the scrolling shooters like Raiden or something like that. You get these cool lightning things going all over the screen and homing missiles and all that stuff.
Well, that's the thing. It's kind of in between. Like I said, it's almost like a Ratchet and Clank game or something. Or somewhere where you collect these items. I mean, even those gears actually float over to you sometimes.
Yeah.
A la, so Ben, what did you think?
I thought it was a pretty interesting game. As far as shooters go, it does its job. I think it's a good-looking game. What excites me more is that this is the second episode of a 5-arc game series taking place in the same world called Mistbound.
Does that really excite you?
The world of Mistbound excites you.
I think it's really a compelling way of game development.
It's a neat idea, but do you actually care that much about this world?
I cared about it more in the previous game in this franchise. There was a game called Greed Core, which was a turn-based grid-based strategy RPG that involved, because the lore of this world is that pieces of the planet is basically falling into nothingness and disappearing. So land and resources are disappearing, and
it does it during the game too.
Yeah,
which looks
graphically,
cool.
yeah.
Gatling gears.
And you've got all these different factions, and in Gatling Gears, it doesn't seem to really make an impact on the game so much because it's just a visual aesthetic.
Yeah.
Whereas in the previous game, Greed Core, it was a core tenet of the game. And they have a couple more games coming up. I don't know exactly if they've gone on the record on what they're going to be doing, but it kind of reminds me of Gaijin Games' Bit Trip franchise, where they have sort of an overall arc, and there's going to be different games for each installment. And also kind of like Oddworld, the Oddworld franchise, which they never really picked up on that. I think they've only done 2 in that franchise of the actual story that they were trying to do.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they can pull it off, because like in this one, the story was pretty much not even there.
Yeah.
Like it was just kind of a weird cutscene, and then I didn't really understand what I was doing.
No,
sometimes,
you just shoot things. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, but I hope that it fleshes it out. I mean, it'd be interesting if they do that.
I mean, I think the world itself is more interesting than any plot stuff that they can do, and sometimes that's the case. Just like Star Wars, the world of Star Wars is way more interesting than the dumb movies.
And let the flame wars begin.
But he's probably referring to the new movies.
Oh, the new movies, which you're right.
Sure, of course I'm referring to the new movies.
Speaking of the story, though, at some point in the game, you can knock down trees, which is interesting. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Like, it's like the same animation, which is kind of weird. But like, and then you start to be able to smash things, and you're like going into these towns where like you're supposed to be helping. This is like your town, but then you just feel so compelled to just destroy everything.
There's an
I was just like walking over everybody's stuff, even though I was supposed to be helping them.
Wish you get something for like, why have all this destructible stuff?
Yeah, it's for nothing.
For nothing, right? There's never. I mean, you know where the health crates are.
Yeah.
And then the gold pieces are pretty obvious too. Rarely do you have to break something to find anything you need.
Yeah.
So, except unless you're playing like 2-player and you care about score, because you get points for destroying structures.
I thought, and to your point also about being busy in the screen, I thought that sometimes when I first started, it was hard to tell where those little guys were, like little soldiers that come in the game, and where the gears were.
Yeah.
I wanted to go collect the gears, and then I just got shot by some missile launcher guy.
Yeah, those soldiers are like, they're almost as small as the bullets they shoot.
I know, right?
It's like, and you could see like little raccoons and foxes running around, and you're like, and these people are just as big as they are. So it's just like, there's a little size disparity there, but.
So I want my pet to attack those little guys.
I know, the pet thing was a missed opportunity.
So what is the pet thing? I didn't see that.
It's later on in the upgrades.
Okay. You get enough experience points, you can unlock pets
like an
that
elephant?
follow you around.
Can you get an elephant?
You get crows and foxes.
I want an elephant.
I will close the review, but you say you did like it then?
Yeah, I like what
So all of us likes, not like extreme loves or anything. But I will close by saying it reminded me of Ikari Warriors in a little way. Because, and again, we'll talk because, I'm sorry, you don't know what Ikari Warriors is. But Ikari Warriors, you would go kind of up, you'd travel up the screen. You could never go back, right? And in this game, it was kind of annoying. I can't go back to some of the stuff I missed.
Right.
Like there's a gear right there on the edge of the screen. I can't go back. And Ikari Warriors is the same way. You'd go and be fighting along, and if you miss something, you can't go back.
Sounds like a metaphor for life.
And scene. That's nice. I have a tangent about Ikari Warriors, but I'll go on it some other time.
it was a good comparison too, because you got the grenades, the 360 shooting.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
They're going to do a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk about Wii 2 and what we'd like to see coming out of it. Dude, this is so awesome. We are driving in a car.
I know. I was looking forward to this road trip.
I'm so glad you got the car.
I know.
It's sunny out.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Oh, dude, check it out. I got an alert. A new discount from Foot Locker.
Foot Locker?
Could this day get any better?
I was wanting to get some new shoes.
High five.
Tell me more.
10% off, $50 or more. You could totally spend that.
Hell yeah.
AF press 3. That's all I gotta do. Use that code. That's
Dude,
so awesome.
That is awesome.
Everything's awesome. That is not awesome.
What?
Welcome back to the show. Now we're going to talk about Wii 2, which is coming up at E3, and what we'd like to see out of the system, kind of our wants, our wish list, as it were. Ben, we're going to start with you.
All right.
What do you want to see? What are your fears?
Well, first of all, I'm really just curious about what Nintendo could possibly have in store. There's all these rumors about some tablet with buttons and controllers and things streaming back and forth. You got rumored titles, names for the device like the Stream, and that's kind of compelling. What I really want, though, is an overarching service. I want a gamer tag-esque thing. I want achievement-esque things.
You don't like friend codes?
I want that gone. I want there to be a service. I have a theory because Nintendo delayed their eShop for the 3DS to actually the day of their press announcement at E3, and I suspect there's going to be some announcements with that. Maybe, if not an overarching like gamer tag-esque thing, there's going to be at least a synced up service so that you can, when you buy a game, it's tied to an account and it's not going anywhere. Because that's been really frustrating with buying games on WiiWare and DSiWare. So just basic core things like that would be really appreciated.
You just want them to get up to Xbox Live.
You want them to go back to normal.
Like consider stuff that's basic for. I mean, if the PSP has more online functionality than the Wii does, I mean that's kind of, it's not worth my time.
So what about the console itself? What do you want of that?
There's a couple things. Like, I'm really curious about this handheld controller. It'd be nice if you could actually use it as a handheld gaming device on the go. That'd be kind of cool. And I honestly don't want Nintendo to just close the door on motion control, because a lot of the rumors that people have said is that it's going to be this hardcore gaming device with this more standard controller. I'm like, well, what's going to happen to all those Wiimotes that people are collecting? Is it
maybe they succeeded or they were like, Kinect came in and okay, no.
Sure, but like, are they going to? It'd be really nice if they announced, hey, so there's this Project Cafe. We haven't given the official name for the device yet. It's going to support Wii controllers, but it'd be really nice if they actually said, we're going to have a more improved version of the Wii controller as a secondary device as well. Or if you can use I would be sad if this new console didn't really support new motion control games.
Right, do both. You wanted to do both.
Yeah, I'd love
do
it
its
to
new
do both.
Crazy fancy whatever the controller is.
I would love to see Mario Galaxy 3 with better graphics and still have that motion control. I think it was worthwhile. I think it's a valid gaming form of interactive medium. And I think if Nintendo just sort of closed the door on that, which I don't think they would do, I think it would be kind of a missed opportunity. But you don't hear anything in the rumors about new motion control devices. You don't hear anything new on the motion control front from Nintendo.
Right. Well, I'd say 3 words, third party. Oh, 3 words, 3. I'd say 2 words, third party.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what the heck? I mean, that's what you need. That's the way it'll live or die by that third party coming in.
There'd be some cool stuff. Like I was talking with some friends. They're announcing the device at E3, and it's coming out. Nintendo likes to do spring launches for a lot of their games, spring launches or early fall launches. And I think it'd be really cool if they launched with stuff like Soul Calibur 5 and games that you never see at launch but could be pretty sweet.
Well, how about Rockstar? We were talking about earlier before the show. I mean, they worked with them only on Manhunt, right? Or Manhunt 2.
Yeah.
I mean, having a Rockstar announcement come out with the new Wii console.
I've heard they did some GTA for the handheld.
handheld, right?
Yeah.
So that isn't crazy. That's not a crazy idea.
I've heard Nintendo's been doing a lot of courting. Like they just through the grapevine, Nintendo's been courting a lot of third party.
See, Nintendo is in a position to do that now because of the Wii, because they've established such a huge market with the Wii that they could say like, okay, listen, we're probably going to sell a lot of these units, but I'm excited about like this, again, everything we hear all rumors, but they say, hey, the graphics are supposed to be much better, much more powerful. So I'm interested to see what that means.
Yeah.
Are they going to go past Xbox 360 and PS3? Or are they just going to be the same? Because if they're just the same, then why do I switch over?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the word, But then you have games like Battlefield 3 that, to me, look almost like they look realistic, the graphics, right? So I'm like, can you really do that much better than that? If so, I want to see it. That would be really awesome.
Yeah.
But I think what they're doing is really smart because, again, rumored is that they're going to support Wii, backwards compatible, and so now you have a machine that's like, okay, you don't need a separate Xbox 360 and your Wii at home for most families.
Right.
Now you have your casual machine and your hardcore machine in one with updated graphics and everything. So very smart because Wii hasn't been doing as well lately in recent months, in the last year or so, and so now this is a chance for Nintendo to kind of like take back the crown. It's like, hey, we're going to capture the casual market. We still have them, but also the hardcore crowd.
Right, and on top of that, like you said, I mean, everybody has either a Roku box or a Boxy box or some sort of set-top box or their Xbox, and so if they're not in that space, they're losing out. They have Netflix on Wii, but it's kind of weird.
Netflix coming to 3DS,
right.
I think if this console launches and you don't have to wait a few months to get everything patched in there, we're still waiting for a lot of features for the 3DS. And the Wii, when it first launched, I mean, Nintendo has the worst. They have horrible servers for their online stuff, and if they can literally just get back end stuff working, because I remember when I got my Wii, it took me a week before I could update it. Because it was just the servers were so overwhelmed with all these people buying the device, and it's like this was launch. I mean, launch. There's a lot of people buying and downloading at the same time, but it's not like Christmas of a year later when there's a bazillion people buying the device.
They have to kill friend codes too. Come on, they're not going to either. They're going to have new improved friend codes.
They could lock it down, but you need to be able to have a username. Like I really, sure, it has to be certified.
Let's message Reggie. We'll ask him.
Yeah, at E3 they're going to announce we're going to do this stuff. People are going to cheer.
Yeah,
I know.
We're getting rid of friends codes. They're going to have it's going to be standing
ovation.
Whatever. It's like I
which
love
is
Nintendo.
silly, by the way, because they created their own problem, and then we're like, yay.
You know what would be great is if they announced it. Oh, we're gonna have a new Mario game for it. We're gonna have maybe a new Zelda. I'm tired of Zelda. Off the record.
You're actually on the record. You're on the record.
I know, right?
Officially on the record.
However,
Me too, though.
I would love to see, and not even a Pikmin 3, but I would just like to see a new franchise. And
that's a crazy idea.
Yeah, it's like Nintendo's like, hey, we got this great device. It's got this console where things are streaming. It's gonna be kind of a large format DS experience, but it's got these new features.
Yep.
It's got this really cool thing. Instead of Wii Music, instead of Wii Sports, come with something a little fresher, maybe not necessarily super hardcore, maybe not a JRPG, but just something that's different.
A new mascot, a new something. I agree with you.
I don't agree. I don't think people are going to care.
Yeah.
I think if they're like, we're going to do a new Mario or new Zelda, people are going to get excited. New Metroid, people are going to get excited. If they're like, we're going to introduce this new character and he's this, and this, you're not going to care until you
Blinks,
play it.
The cat.
Like, no one cared about Mario until you played it, and you're like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
So,
I wouldn't know because
he's. Don't even start down that road.
But no. I think there's just some cool opportunities. I think Nintendo needs to line up the third party, like you said. I think in the Western market they really need to line up an infrastructure that at least offers more than middling online functionality, and I think they just need to prove that it's a console that can appeal to everyone, and they've done that with the Wii, and I think they can't leave those people behind, but they also need to step up their game.
And they need third party. They need third party.
You know what would be awesome if they said, Respawn Entertainment, we're going to pay you all the money in the world for your first game to be exclusive to our console.
Or what if they did stuff like, Rockstar? We know GTA 5 is coming up. We know it's coming out in 2012 or 2013. Here's a ton of money. Make sure it comes to this console.
Yeah.
And
as long as their graphics are on par, they can do that.
Exactly. And then Rockstar can come out and say, actually, it's pretty powerful. Or talk to Valve and say, hey, we know Portal 2's been out a couple years. It's old hat now. Can you do an updated version for this new console and toss in a bunch of exclusive content? And that might be cool.
Here's what I want to see out of it. It's interesting because I recently found my DS. I had lost it for a while. And I'm not buying the 3DS right now because there's no good games for it.
Ocarina of Time?
There's one game for it. And so there's no reason for me to really get that system. And also the 3D is still a little weird to me with the whole viewing angle. So this new Wii, if the controller is really a true handheld, a la what NGP wants to do with playing your PlayStation 3 games on the go, like we were talking about on the show, I would love that because I don't want to buy a 3DS right now. So I just buy Wii 2 and I have a handheld as well. That'd be a really interesting thing because I've always wanted the Dreamcast VMU back. I've always wanted to be able to take my games on the road. And if they're touting this insanely, I think, expensive system that's going to have this kind of basically a DS as a controller, I'm kind of all for that. Because right now I need a DS.
You know what's really curious? Purportedly, this device is only going to have 8 gigs of onboard memory, 8 gigs of storage space, which is nothing compared to a console. And the rumors point that it's going to be called the Stream. That, I suspect it could be that they're going to go for more of a cloud streaming-based gaming where things buffer onto that.
On live,
you buy games through the service and it stays in the cloud.
The only problem is it doesn't.
It starts buffering everything through there, so you start playing, and then as you get to new areas, that content's there, but it's not a whole 42 gigs of everything.
It sounds great, but the only problem is we're testing on live, and you have to have HDMI, you have to have a really amazing stream,
which is silly because
Nintendo.
Nintendo's always been so like anti-HD. They're like, we're not going to touch this stuff. We're not going to touch.
Maybe
it
that's a rumor. Maybe it's a rumor.
And of course, everything's up in the air. We have 2 weeks until they're officially announcing it. It's a week, 2 weeks from yesterday. So no, today. So,
What if?
All right.
None of this was true.
Okay.
And it was just literally a Wii 2. It's like more motion controls, more casual gaming.
Dead in the water.
Carnival games will be a launch product.
Dead in the water.
I don't think it would do poorly. I think
it would do poorly.
People aren't buying Wiis.
They're not buying Wiis now. Yeah.
So I think
that would be suicide.
I think going to the hardcore market's very smart.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was our look at our discussion on Wii 2. We're kind of all interested. We're very interested in what's going to happen, but we're
going to
not
be surprised. We're going to see some big surprises. There are going to be some really cool features that
I want to be surprised.
I'm excited to have hardware discussions at E3.
Yeah,
right,
that's the best E3s you ever had is when they talk about new consoles, new systems, and you had just a new platform to talk.
NGP, there's going to be new 3G
NGP stuff is really interesting.
There's going to, and I wouldn't be surprised if we start hearing hints towards the next wave from Microsoft and Sony. Just
the 2014 systems or whatever.
Deflate, like Sony will say, Nintendo's showing off their thing. Like, we will have a console 2014. So I bet someone's going to confirm that they'll have something in the future and just say it, just to sort of.
A game system will come out in the future. At some point.
That hurts their current sales, though. Are you, especially after the PSN fiasco, are you going to buy a PS3 if Sony announced something like that?
No.
I don't think they would.
Yeah. All right, that's going to do it for the show today. Thank you for watching. If you missed our show live, what's wrong with you? Go to justin.tv/presspause, 12 p.m. Pacific time. You can join in, talk with us in the chat room. After the show, we chat with you, so that's cool as well. Also, our edited episodes are up at presspause.mevio.com. And we're on YouTube now, so youtube.com/presspausemevio. That's kind of does roll off the tongue. Go leave some comments, talk to us, and if you're in the chat room, stick around after the show. Thank you, Dan.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
See you later. Game over. Yo, you want some fresh new kicks?
Yeah.
I got a code for you. Use AFPress1. Go to eastbay.com. Use that code. 10% off, $50 or more.
Holla.
Holla.